It needs that signal. We need more power.
We're here at Gen Con and I'm speaking with Angus Walker from Wizards of the Coast, and we are going to get a look at the Magic the Gathering Arena of the Planeswalkers new board game. Angus, is this released just now at Gen Con?
It's just releasing. It's available in limited quantities at select retailers, and it will be available everywhere starting next week.
That's excellent. Now I have to ask, why a board game for Magic the Gathering?
Well, the timing just really seemed right. I mean, obviously Magic has a huge fan base, but it's also kind of a great time for tabletop gaming, where there's been a real renaissance in tabletop gaming. So it was just the perfect time to introduce the Magic theme to tabletop gaming, and I think what we've come up with is a really terrific game.
Do you think it'll help bring people who are traditionally tabletop gamers into Magic, you know, as a starting point?
I think that's one of the hopes, is that, you know, people that are into sort of tactical battling games that may not be familiar with the Magic story, it's a great way to bring them into the brand. I think it's also great for people that are Magic players that maybe want to get into tabletop gaming as well. So it's kind of you know, best of both worlds.
Right, exactly. Now, well, let's take a look at this game, and I'd love for you to tell me all about it here.
Sure. So the basic gist of the game is obviously it's, you know, got all the core tenets of Magic. So it's got Planeswalkers. It's got the 5 colors are very important in it. Battling Smart's really important. So it's got all the core tenets, but again, it's layered onto a tactical battling board game. The basic premise is you play as a Planeswalker. There's 5 Planeswalkers in the game. There's Jace, Chandra, Liliana, Nissa, and Gideon. You play as a Planeswalker, and then each Planeswalker has 2 squads of creatures that they can summon to help them battle. The goal is to be the last Planeswalker standing at the end of the game. Each Planeswalker has, in this instance, it's Jace. The Planeswalkers are decoed and painted figures. Their squads are not, but for 2 reasons. One is we really want to emphasize the importance of the colors. So this really, for people who aren't familiar with Magic, it makes it very easy for them to get that. But they're also made in shot in a plastic that is very paintable. So a lot of people will, you know, hopefully want to paint these and customize them and you know, make them their own. So each Planeswalker has a card here, a stat card here. This tells you everything you need to know about that Planeswalker. So in this case, Jace has a life of 7. He can move 6 spaces when he moves. He has to be within range of 7 spaces to attack. And then his power and toughness are here. And then his special powers are laid out down here. Same goes for the army squads that he has. They have their own powers as well. And then what makes it very, very Magic is each color has 12 spell cards as well. So you have spells that you can, enchantments and sorceries that you can cast to enhance your power or take away power from your opponent. A lot of the spells you'll recognize from the Magic the Gathering card game, a lot of them are new. So for example, Jace has one called Teleport Self, which allows him, Project Self, which allows him to teleport all over the board, which wouldn't make sense in the card game, but obviously makes a lot of sense for a game like this.
Right.
So you attack by rolling dice. So in the case of, if you were Jace, if he's attacking, he rolls 5 dice. And if you were defending, for example, if it was Gideon and he was defending, he has a defense of 5, so he would roll 5 dice. So he'd roll 6 against 5. In this case, it would be 1, 2, 3 hits for Jace, and then Gideon would roll his dice as well if he got shields. The shields block the attacks. Damage is persistent, so you actually keep track of your damage with the damage cubes there, that damage markers. And then once you've gotten, if Jace took 7 hits, like, he would eventually be out of the game.
Interesting. Now, how does the terrain come into it?
The terrain comes into it in a couple ways. There's definitely there's height advantage. So if Jace were up here, he'd have a height advantage of 1. So if he were attacking, he'd get to roll an extra die. If he were defending, he'd get to roll an extra die. So there's definitely advantages to that. There's also these glyphs here as well, which when you start the game, you don't know what they are, and they're sort of randomly placed on the board. First person that lands on it flips it over. In this case, it's a movement of 2, which means that any white creature would act on, and the board will get two movements as long as there's somebody on that glyph.
So the game, we are
interesting. And all of this stuff that we see here comes with the box set.
It does. That's one of the things that we're most excited about is like how much we can deliver in this. So it's a complete standalone game. You don't need anything else to get started, which was really important to us. Has 35 figures in the box. 5 of them are the painted Planeswalkers. The 30 others are the creatures. You get, these are actually 6 panels. You can reconfigure the board in different ways to have different battling scenarios. And then you have the ruins and the terrain pieces as well. And you get all of this for a suggested retail price of $30, which is terrific.
For $30?
$30, yeah. It was very important to us that this was as accessible as possible to as many people as possible. So, because we really just this is really a great way to get people into the Magic brand.
Oh, that's awesome. I have to ask, is there mana involved in any way, or do we kind of skip over mana in
There actually is not mana in this game. One of the things to again, in the effort of making it as accessible as possible, was we tried to keep the most basic elements of Magic and kind of simplify some of the other pieces as well, just to make it easier to learn and get into it right away.
Okay, so if this is successful now, is there plans for future games in this line or expansions possibly?
So when you start playing the game, one of the first things you realize is that it's definitely would be enhanced and be great with expansion packs. We are going to be doing expansions. The first one will be coming out the beginning of next year. I can't tell you what that is going to be yet, but it will be a what you see is what you get type of model. So it's not going to be a blind purchase. So you'll know what you're getting. And as I mentioned, there's great opportunity for this to kind of like build out over time.
This is nice. I'm just touching these. So this is thick board here, right? I thought it was just a mat. It's not.
Yeah, no, but it's actually there's six panels that can all fit together in different configurations. In the rule book, there's some suggested configurations, but you can kind of do them however you'd like. But yeah, it's just a very different, really fun, terrific way to experience the Magic story, the Magic world, where you actually get to play in 3 dimensions as Planeswalkers, which is really fun.
How many players is it for?
You can play it anywhere from 2 to 5 players. So you can play it, 1 versus 1 with 2 players. You can play it a battle royale, like 5, every man for himself, like 5 on 5. One way that I like to play it is a 2v2 team. So you can actually, if you like the combination of, blue and green together, you can kind of team up and play, play against your opponents. And in that scenario, it's a lot of fun because you can kind of talk with each other about what you want to do next, and it's just a fun way to play it.
How do you think about the complexity of it? Age range for the game?
The game is age graded 10 plus, but it's so definitely kids that are take up propensity to board games will definitely get this. I mean, younger kids have picked this up really quickly, but it's also a game that adult gamers are love as well. So it's not like a super complex game by any means, but it also has enough in there that somebody who loves tabletop games will have a really good time with it.
Excellent. Well, Angus, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to talk to me today.
It's been a lot of fun. Thank you.